Hello and welcome to the channel. Be sure to share, like, and comment down below. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button for daily videos on news and politics.
Martin Luther King Jr. would have stood with Trump. He didn't want migrants from the third world here either. This weekend, the media was imploding over the unconfirmed third countries comment that President Trump was accused of making by two far-left Democrats who took part in an immigration meeting with the president. Sen. Dick Durbin claimed that the president used hate-filled, vile and racist language in an immigration meeting. Now, to clarify, even if the dubious and leaked comments were said by the president, there is nothing racist about them. To claim that they are racist is to confuse ethnicity with citizenship. Despite this, one of the media's main talking points, and a talking point by crazed and corrupt leftist politicians such as Maxine Waters, D. California, and Earl Blumenauer, D. Oregon, is that Martin Luther King would have stood against President Trump. This is simply not true, and even prompted MLK's niece to appear on Fox News and state that calling President Trump racist is both outrageous and unjust. So, what would Martin Luther King Jr. actually think about America in 2018 and our president? It's not all that hard to find out. Martin Luther King Jr., were he here, would have been opposed to the flood of immigration, both illegal and otherwise, because of the disproportionately negative effects it has on the black community and the legal migrant population that was around prior to the influx of mass migration starting in 1968, the year of King's death. It's obviously difficult to speculate what the precise response would be from someone like Dr. King, but those that were close to him, shared goals with him, and worked alongside him can act as channeling entities that are able to express certain sentiments that would have been close to King's heart given his politics at the time of his death. One of the major points of interest would be immigration. Dr. King was close with and a supporter of Cesar Chavez, the farm worker organizer and dualistically an anti-open borders crusader. The pair both understood the importance of keeping illegal immigration out of the fold because of its impact on the wages and unions that Chavez was fighting to rectify. When illegal immigrants flood into our country, the black community is impacted in a disproportionate way. Jobs are taken away because of the suppressive wage practices, and the government doesn't do anything to rectify it. The same liberals that claim to help the black community also undermine the black community every chance they get. Martin Luther King and his successor Reverend Ralph Anthony were against open immigration policy, Rev. Anthony actually marched against it because it took jobs away from black Americans. Not only that, but MLK's lawyer and top advisor has stated, I find it offensive and insulting when you wave Mexican and Salvadoran flags and compare yourself to civil rights demonstrators, black American citizens who were denied their unalienable rights as Americans entirely because of their skin color. Today, in 2018, black leaders are silent about the massive flood of unskilled immigration coming into the U.S. There is absolutely no commotion in the black community about this threat to livelihood and upward mobility because of the political silence from the Democratic Party who decided to co-opt seeming black issues. But again, they undermine their own work and it seems somewhat intentional after many decades of this practice. There's an even greater edge to the bastardization of Dr. King's thinking and messaging that liberals often misappropriate in an effort to gain greater perceived moral superiority, this being the use of Dr. King's image, rhetoric, memory, and civil rights branding stolen by groups like La Raza or the AMN or even Antifa. Dr. King would have been disturbed by the waving of Mexican flags by so-called civil rights demonstrators because it not only misses the point but undermines the actual work MLK accomplished. Equality for all Americans. The point was never to be your individual nationality wholly in the US. The point was to become an American fully, not in when it's good and out when it's bad. That's the hypocrisy drive King would lose his mind over. Black Americans did not have the same rights when he was fighting for equality. Today, some could argue that minorities have greater rights than others, and illegal immigrants have more protection than others, and that they feel they can protest and call themselves civil rights activists is absurd and insulting. And that is the truth. The Democrats in this country will have you believe that if you don't want hordes of unskilled labor that is hard to assimilate into the Western world, that you are simply racist. They don't believe this, they just want the votes. But these temporary votes will have long-term detrimental effects on the United States. To bring in these migrants from the Third World and grant them citizenship, they are not only undermining the African-American communities they claim to look out for, they are undermining the future of the United States of America.